When you watch tapes of you, what do you see?
The things that I was able to do versus that level of competition was uncanny. It was unreal.
Vick in trouble, escapes, still on the run, looks for the change, and he'll pick up the first down on 4th and 15.
Did you see that?
I was lazy, last guy in the building, first guy out. I know that.
Probably didn't scratch the surface of his potential.
The coverage, look at this, look at that. Over him, on top of him, and he pulls a Houdini. Tell me this kid is not going to be a superstar, and I'll say you're absolutely wrong.
First of all, for all the kids who didn't see him play, highlights don't do him justice. Honestly, every player looks good in highlights. Plus, with the slow down angles and everything, it just doesn't always show off their ability. I want to try and make it clear how big of a problem he was for defenses in his prime. Every single play, he had defenses scared of his athletic ability because of stuff like this.
Play action to Dunn. He'll boot back. Now up in the pocket. Vick's going to run midfield. 45-40. Vick to the far side.
Anyways, let's get into this list. Number 1, major college dominance. Coming out of high school, Vick was one of the most hyped up players out of Virginia. When it came down to his final choices for college, he ended up picking the hometown team Virginia Tech. The season before he had arrived, the Hokies had gone 7-5, and they were unranked at the end of the season. In the first 20 minutes of his college football career, he scored 3 touchdowns, including this.
There's the shotgun snap to the Tech freshman. Running with the football, has a seam at the 5, goes airborne into the end zone. Touchdown Tech, a sensational.
Although he actually got hurt on this play, people in Virginia began to go nuts. That electric performance sent shockwaves through Blacksburg, and ticket sales began to skyrocket. Vick bounced back from that injury and had one of the most efficient passing seasons in the history of college football. They began to sell out every game, and with the unexpected dominance of Michael Vick as an 18-year-old, he led the Hokies to the national title game. During that game, Vick led a furious comeback that helped take the lead at the start of the 4th. They did end up losing, but the effort of the young quarterback will always be remembered. This is the moment that Vick became a household name. That 1999 team had finished as the highest ranked team of all time in the history of Virginia Tech, all led by freshman Michael Vick, who won both an ESPY award as the nation's top college player and the first ever Archie Griffin Award as college football's most valuable player. Number 2, his first playoff moment. Michael Vick did become the first black quarterback ever drafted number 1 overall in 2001, but he really didn't become a full-time starter until 2002. This season was his coming out party. Vick became a Pro Bowler, taking the league by storm. He led the Falcons to a wildcard matchup on the road versus the Packers. To advance past this stage would be no small task. A Brett Favre-led Packers entering this game was unbeatable at home. For his playoff career, he was 6-0 in Lambeau, with an average winning margin of nearly 14 points a game. And he's already well considered one of the greatest quarterbacks in the game at the time, and already had a Super Bowl on his resume. Well, right from the start, Michael Vick was stunning. He absolutely dominated, and the game wasn't even close. But I have to show you my favorite play. It wasn't even a huge gain or a touchdown. So, Vick had been juking out this dude all game, number 94. I can't even pronounce the dude's name, but literally, he made him look dumb almost every play. Then this happened.
He has a lot of the same tools that Steve Young had, including this.
Yep, what they call the old escapability.
That play pretty much represented the entire game. Vick just handed Brett Favre his first ever home playoff loss. Oh, and by the way, he was only 22. Number 3, Virtual Vick. I hope some of you were old enough to appreciate Madden 04. It was the first game I ever played a lot of, and all of you who played it remember how dominant Michael Vick was. He had his own formation package that was basically just a fake handoff bootleg that worked every time. With 95 speed, he was one of the fastest players in the game, but that 97 acceleration was deadly. Plus, with 98 throw power, he could throw the ball pretty much further than everyone. So you could just scramble around all day and then find the open man. When you were playing with friends, no one liked you if you chose the Falcons. It's kind of like the guy who chooses Golden State in 2K. The next thing in this category is the Michael Vick experience. This was a Nike commercial over 10 years ago, which I think is hilarious. This commercial showed that pretty much every kid and football fan wanted to be like Michael Vick. At the beginning, you see one of the helpers put on Michael Vick's signature shoe. It's interesting because only a handful of NFL players really ever had a signature shoe. I mean, Cam Newton did, and apparently Deion Sanders and Bo Jackson did, along with a few others, but Michael Vick did have his own brand. I just remember he had his own football specifically made for left-handed people. Still to this day, one of the sickest jerseys of all time is that red number 7 Falcons jersey. Number 4, the comeback. After spending 528 days behind bars, to come back and be a capable quarterback in the National Football League would be tough to do for any player. That's a lot of rust building up. Reports did say that he tossed the football around a bit, but come on. With the complexity of an NFL offense, and just being used to the speed of the game, it's safe to say he was not coming back at his peak ability. In 2008, the Eagles signed him to a modest one-year deal to be their backup behind Donovan McNabb. Vick ended up playing very limited action throughout the season, but it was enough to keep him on the team for another year. After that first season, McNabb was traded to the Redskins, and then they promoted Kevin Kolb to the starter over Michael Vick. With little faith in Michael Vick, it was luck in an unfortunate way that he got his opportunity to play. Kolb ended up getting hurt, allowing Vick to take over. Like he had done time and time again, he stunned everyone. He would put together a string of jaw-dropping performances, which quickly reignited the Vick fan base. He had this one Monday night game against the Redskins where he passed for 333 yards and 4 touchdowns, while rushing for 80 yards and another 2 touchdowns. And this isn't even the craziest thing that happened that season. You all know what's about to come up. The Eagles-Giants game. The Giants were up 31-10 with 7 minutes left. This game was all but wrapped up. That was until Michael Vick orchestrated 3 straight scoring drives, showing off some of that vintage magic that everyone had missed. Then the game ended on one of the craziest plays I've ever seen. Deshaun Jackson muffed that punt and then took it to the house, which is one of the most memorable plays of all time, capping off one of the greatest comebacks ever. For Vick, this game was the perfect representation for his life up to that point. Down and out with little signs of hope. Then shocking everyone. He was the comeback player of the year that season, who just happened to orchestrate one of the greatest comebacks of all time along the way. This season would end with Vick making his 4th Pro Bowl. Love him or hate him, he completely revolutionized the position, at least for a few years. He has changed the way coaches think at all levels. From Pop Warner to the pros, it's undeniable. Every freak athlete in the mid-2000s all of a sudden wanted to be a quarterback. Vick made people, and I'm talking everyone, fans and GMs, believe that the dual threat quarterback could truly work in the NFL.
And still be wrong. Roger Biamilla has control of it. He has containment. He has everything. Michael Vick just straightens out his face mask, gets his helmet back on right, and then goes back the other way.